After receiving backlash, proponents of the Maharlika Wealth Fund bill decided to amend the measure. Marikina Representative Stella Kimbo said the government service insurance system and social security system will be removed as fund sources.
Sana, because nakita natin, yun ang kagandahan nung naging consultation, nakita talaga natin yung saan talaga yung concern, saan galing yung takot, and importante yung boses ng tao. Importante na pakinggan and at the same time tugunan.
Instead of pension funds, the proposed Maharlika Wealth Fund will tap profits from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Kimbo said the BSP has already committed to this after they allayed some of the reservations of BSP Governor Felipe Medalla.
Pero ang isang naging concern is baka lumiit ang reserves niya. So of course, ang reserves ay kailangan yun para depensahan ang ating piso. Pero nung na-reassure siya na hindi naman natin kukunin ang reserves, but rather kukunin natin yung profits.
Still, Gabriela Representative Arlene Brosas raised concerns over the management of the MWF.
Kahit tanggalin pa ang GSIS at SSS sa pagkukuhanan ng pondo, maaari pa rin maging balon ng korupsyon ang Maharlika Fund. Lalo talamak ang korupsyon sa gobyerno at walang hinahain na safeguards para siguraduhin gagamitin ito sa tama, yung pondong ito.
Meanwhile, Northern Samar Solon Paul Daza lauded the amendment but appealed to his fellow lawmakers not to rush the passage of the bill. For Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel, changes in the MWF bill only proves that it was not well thought of. House Majority Leader Manix Dalipe said the MWF bill could be approved on second reading at the lower chamber before Christmas break. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
To give us his insights on the changes in the controversial MWF bill, we have with us political economist and Foundation for Economic Freedom President Calixto Chikiamco. He joins us now live via Zoom. Sir, good evening and welcome to The Big Story.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
I'll toss the first question. Does the removal of the SSS and GSIS remove all red flags from this Maharlika Wealth Fund, or are there still any red flags remaining in your opinion?
Well, first of all, it's a good first step in reevaluating the merits of the bill. So at least we have to give credit to the legislators for recognizing that it's politically toxic to be messing with pension funds. I've always said this before, that even former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. did not interfere or mess with the SSS. So I'm glad that this has been done, but there are still many problematic provisions in the current bill. One of them is that using BSP profits, because this would be an amendment to the charter of the central bank, because the profits of the central bank are supposed to be reinvested to increase the capitalization of the central bank to 200 billion. So effectively, they'll be amending the BSP charter. It's not so obvious from the bill that they're going to do this. Thirdly, of course, if they're going to use DBP and land bank funds, this just might be adding another layer to the bureaucracy. That's by having another institution to be investing these funds. So I think they need to reevaluate further the bill.
All right. So, but sir, aside from GSIS and SSS, there are also ideas to drop the annual contribution in the national from the national budget. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, I think that's correct because right now the national budget is even insufficient to pay for all the requirements, expenditures of the national government, and for even paying, the healthcare workers' allowances. So I think it was the correct move to drop the contribution of the national government to the fund.
Some pundits, sir, are saying that this surrenders the idea of the Maharlika Wealth Fund basically dead in the water. Would you agree with that sentiment?
my suggestion is that they, the Maharlika Wealth Fund is the wrong instrument for what they want to do. A sovereign wealth fund is aims for diversification and financial returns. But what they're talking about is using this as a development tool, and therefore it's the wrong institution. I think what they should do instead is to revive the National Development Corporation, recapitalize it, inject funds from, let's say, privatizing PAGCOR or the Muntinlupa Bilibid property, and inject it into that National Development Corporation so they can freely use it to invest in infrastructure projects by the national grid, etc. So that's my suggestion. It's not consistent with the principles and ideas of a sovereign wealth fund.
Okay, so I understand, sir, that you are not in favor to push through with the Maharlika funds. But if, in any case, this will push through, who do you think should manage the funds? There are suggestions from GSIS that the president must be included in the advisory council, but just the advisory committee. But aside from establishing the advisory committee, what else should the Congress include in the provisions to make sure that there will be transparency?
Well, first of all, I think they should remove the provision that only the board of directors can approve access to the records. If they're really aiming for full transparency, they should remove this. And I think Congressman Salceda has opened himself to this suggestion. No? So the other thing that I think they should remove is the exemption from the contracts are exempted from review by the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel. So these are some of the things that they should institute as safeguards if ever they will push through with it. But as I said, they should rethink the whole concept, and maybe instead of a sovereign wealth fund, they should create a development finance institution.
Right. Going back to what you said earlier about what this fund is supposed to fund, right? So it's infrastructure projects and such. We do have existing tools apart from the NDC, which you already mentioned, like private-public partnerships and such. But I want to get also your thoughts, sir, on how exactly the BSP's independence could be impacted if, for example, they are able to mandate and change the laws for the BSP to be able to share its profits with this fund?
Well, for one thing, we have to determine first how much exactly are the profits of the BSP, because revaluation of foreign exchange reserves does not constitute profits. So that's the first thing that has to be undertaken, no? So at the same time, of course, there's the constitutional question whether this violates the constitutional independence of the central bank. So I'm sure if this thing pushes through, this will be brought before the Supreme Court.
All right. Thank you for your time, political economist Calixto Chikiamco.